Hey, how's everybody doing out there this Thursday, April 3rd? So, we're in a really, how could I say it, interesting time period in the moon phase, alright? So, I don't know if you guys are aware of this next moon cycle. It's going to be the blood moon, a real blood moon. One of my last lectures, I was talking about a blood moon, but it didn't necessarily mean a blood moon. I meant like, it landed on Valentine's Day. I just named it a blood moon because, Valentine's Day is usually associated with red and all that. So, anyways, this next moon phase is extremely rare and extremely powerful. A lot say that we have never witnessed this type of cycle for thousands of years, I guess you want to call it. The time of enlightenment, when us as a human species actually used our pineal gland, which is also known as the third eye, the sixth chakra, which is associated with the color purple, or actually violet. Um, so, anyways, that time period we actually we actually still used it, and then as that time period deplenished, we went through a phase of certain religion systems that kind of plummeted that and kind of controlled it, and from that point on, we've been that way. But moving on, this next moon phase, all right. So it's gonna land on March, I believe 15th. So it lands on a Tuesday, which is ruled by the planet Mars. All right. So it's basically gonna generate a lot of energy. It already is generating a lot of energy. The moon cycle. We recently had two major quakes in Chile. They've always got rocked. They've had the biggest recording quake, I think, in history. But it's just kind of ironic that, because I stay in Cali, we've had several minor quakes. I mean, I'm used to it. I've grown up in Cali. Now it's just like, it happens. Recently had one, I believe last week, and it was kind of ironic. I woke up because I sleep. My pattern to sleeping is kind of different than a lot because I work graveyard, and I basically got to be working. I'm a night owl. I'm a vampire. No, I'm just playing. Anyways, I woke up right 3 minutes before it occurred, and I keep my Doberman inside my house. Because I care about my Doberman. She's my little douche. So I keep her inside. All right. It's a long story short. Wake up. Go to get a glass of drink to water. Check on her. She's awake. She's usually asleep. She usually cuddles up in her little blankie, and she's there under there. But she was there stiff, like with her ears up. Man, I was like, Doji, what are you doing? Tapped the fence. She moved a little bit. She glanced at me, and then she was just like, and then she starts doing all this crazy stuff. I'm like, what are you doing? And I was like, all right, whatever. Go back to bed because I need to get another couple hours of sleep. As soon as I lay down in bed, I got rocked. I mean, I heard it. I heard a roar, and I was just like, what the hell? It was just weird that all that occurred within 3 minute span. And I don't know what they call that. I don't know if it's a sensory ability, because usually at that time of day, I never wake up. I usually just knock out. But sometimes I do. If I forget to turn my phone off, somebody hit me up or text me or something. But it was just kind of ironic that it happened, and I sensed that. I guess I sensed the energy coming, flowing. I don't know what it was, but it was kind of weird. It usually happens like that. I usually wake up or something will happen, and it's like, whoa. But anyways, we had like a 4.5 centered pretty close to my house. Like I said, I'm kind of used to them. But if you do the research, we've been having a lot of occurring small quakes in Northern California, Central California, and Southern California. And it's just kind of funny that it's the Ring of Fire. The Ring of Fire goes all the way down to the southern Americas, all the way through the Pacific, goes all the way around to Japan. Hopefully Japan doesn't get hit again. I kind of sense that something's gonna go down over there next, because 8.0, that's a major quake. That's pretty freaking humongous. But the way it works as an epicenter, like it's like a ripple. Like the bigger the quakes are, the each point gets harder to like raise. Basically, like let's just say you have a 5-point. It could raise up to a 5.5 quicker than if you had a 7-point, because the 7-point's bigger, so it's like a bigger ring. So like, you know what I'm saying? It's just the bigger the quake is, the harder it is to move the points up. So an 8-point is pretty tremendously big quake, and they've recently had like 3 since like 2 days back. So what I presume is there's major energy going through our Earth right now, Gaia. She's reacting, which is not to us as humans, it's a bad thing, but I don't think it's a bad thing towards Earth. I really, or a guy, I really think that it's a good thing that we're getting this surge amount of energy right now as we speak, because I think a lot of those that are not awake 100%. I don't even think I'm awake 100%, but I'm getting there, and a lot of what's going on is for a reason. It's for us to shift to that next realm of awareness. And I felt it for a while now, since like '07. It started hitting me back then, but a lot of individuals, everybody's different on this plane. So anyways, back to that blood moon. We're gonna witness I guess you want to say it looks like it's bloody. And see, a lot of people are coming to me saying, "Oh, that's in the Bible. That's in the Bible. It's end times. It's biblical stuff, and we're gonna go through a war, and this is gonna." No, man. See, that's the whole point of, like, I get in arguments, because that's all like a fear factor type based systematic way of controlling you. And if you believe that, trust me, if a mass hysteria like focuses on negativity, trust me, it could make something happen just by everybody as a mass is thinking, "Oh, something's gonna happen." It could trigger something to happen. Believe it or not, thought is a major thing. Thought is like the biggest thing actually we could actually do. You send a thought out to the universe. If it's a negative thought, guess what's gonna happen? You're gonna attract negative forces. If you try to sit here and just say, "Okay, it is what it is. I had a bad day at work," whatever the case may be, you focus on being positive, and trust me, your realm is gonna go back to positivity. So, getting back to the blood cycle moon, a lot of people are speculating a lot of negative things about it, and I'm kind of skeptical myself of what's gonna happen to Yellowstone, because I recently saw a YouTube video that there's animals flocking away from that radius, and see, now that's something that could take us out. If that erupts, then woo! Ice age, maybe the demise of the human species, and we're gonna give it to maybe some species in the ocean. I mean, that kind of sounds crazy, but if you think about it, we've ruled this planet for a while now. I don't think it's our time to go. I think we are gonna shift to that next phase of us going back to the way we were, the Atlantean time period and stuff like that. But then again, who knows? I mean, animals have a higher sensibility than we do. We could get there, but as a whole, general, animals just have that sensibility of just knowing something's gonna happen. And what was it, Hurricane Katrina or whatever? I think it was Hurricane Katrina, or that what happened in the South, in New Orleans. Like, there's been reports like 2 weeks before that went down, the animals are flocking away or acting crazy. And see, it's just like it's common. It's commonality of like animals just sensing stuff, or especially natural disasters. My whole example of like what I talked about, the earthquake I had last week, my dog sensed it, but she wasn't acting crazy. She was just stiff. She wasn't moving, but she was awake. So I just kind of know the animals sense something when it's coming. So hopefully nothing happens in Yellowstone, because if it does, wow, just do your research on that one, because there'll be no way of anybody surviving it. I don't want to say anybody. Maybe Australia, maybe southern parts of Africa, but it's gonna be to the point where it's a super volcano, and that'll erupt, and it'll just basically cover sunlight for years. Some scientists say maybe 3 to 10 years. I know that sounds crazy, but just think about it. Think how powerful the chemical compounds are in there, and it bursts out like a nuclear missile bomb when it hits. It's different than a regular missile. Regular missile just explodes, but a nuclear is just something that has to do with the compounds, and it just keeps going, boom, 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 boom. And so if that happens, then who knows? But it's just funny. Do your research on that if you guys are kind of like questioning it. It's out there. Just Google it or whatever, or YouTube it, because I found it kind of funny that all this is happening. The big quake in Chile, and it's the Ring of Fire. And there's always been predictions of a major quake in Cali, which I kind of don't sense anything's going to happen with us. But then again, I could always be wrong. So it's interesting times right now. I'm hearing a lot of different theories, and I want to go with the positive side of saying, okay, it's a blood moon, meaning we're gaining all this high-powered energy running through running through Gaia, through the cosmos, going through But who knows? I mean, anything's possible. Anything is possible. Just do your research. Try to just do what you can spiritually. Pray, whatever type of praying system you have. Meditate. That's my form. But if you're, Catholic, Muslim, Christians, the same thing as Catholicism, but a little bit kind of battling each other out because of I'm right, you're wrong type thing, which is kind of, I don't know. I don't want to get into that. I don't want to, you know, take anybody off who's watching this video. So already 10 minutes. I'm gonna cut this brief and out. Hopefully everybody is doing well out there, and I just want you guys to be aware of what's really going on right now. I mean, I kind of got shooken up about the whole, the whole animal thing leaving Yellowstone, because that's disturbing, because it's never happened, it's never really occurred, and at least since the internet's been around, because we're able to, like, what I'm saying, like, have a phone and just like film it, and and just post it YouTube or whatever you post or whatever you have. So it's just kind of now it's easier. Now the word gets out quicker. So I don't know if this ever happened before. It could have, because I heard that there was a small quake over there. So maybe the animals are reacting to that. But I mean, as far as a whole week, that's what really bothered me. When there's reports of the animals flocking away for it's been a whole week now. Today's what, Thursday. So last and that's kind of weird. That's kind of rare too, because that's when the earthquake hit in Cali. It was small, but still, it is what it is. I mean, it still happened. So who knows what's gonna happen the next week or so. So just like I said, just try to be positive. Try to think positive thoughts. And sometimes if people tell you certain things of negativity and all it's biblical and stuff like that, kind of take it, kind of gain their knowledge. But at the same time, you don't need to believe it. If you sense something, what they're saying is kind of off course, and just say, okay, agree with them, and then just, move on. Because that's all we can do. I mean, when you have a disagreement with somebody, that's all you could do is just move on, and just know what you sense and what you feel is what you sense and what you feel. And go along with that gut feeling, because that's how it all started with me. The whole gut feeling thing, you just know what's right and wrong. Sometimes you're around people that are kind of like polluted in certain ways. I could go on for days about that. So it's already 12 minutes. So I'm gonna cut this short. Yahin here, and like I said, just be positive, spiritual people out there, and I hope everybody's doing well, and be one with the source, with all, and love those as you want to be loved yourself. All right, I'll see you gals and dudes in a cool minute. All right, peace.